6 o'clock.
Recording in progress.
I'd like to call this September 10th work session to order. Everyone please rise for Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Just a quick announcement. I'd like to say that the National Night Out last Sunday was a success. And the fireworks were beautiful. We had a tremendous amount of community involvement. I'd also like to thank all of the vendors and supporters that donated food, their time to the event. Also, I want to make an announcement that this Thursday's planning board meeting will be at the senior center. We're expecting a large turnout, so we're moving into that location. Do we have any correspondence, Paul?
I do. So a couple came into my office and their names were Joan and Aaron Dolitz from 4 Star Estates, number 25, 257 Pleasant Valley Road, and they wanted to thank us for striping the road. It's wonderful. I also have a letter dated September 10th, 2024. This letter is to inform you of our outstanding display of service to your community. On Sunday, August 25th, 2024, the above officers brought the suspects into custody responsible for a string of burglaries affecting multiple businesses in the Lock Shelter area over the past few months. The cigarette outlet Casa Cava, Pizza, Sushi Tokyo, Catskills, and Green Lips Juice Bar fell victim to this string of burglaries. Officers teamed up with the Village of Liberty Police Department after they had a burglary in the jurisdiction involving a suspect matching the description of the suspect from the Lock Shelter burglaries. Once the officers identified the suspect and vehicles, the vehicle was located in Lock Shelter. After hours of surveillance, the vehicle pulled the Divine Corners Road in Lock Shelter. When officers attempted to stop the vehicle, the operator sped off and failed to comply with the officers. After a short vehicle pursuit, Detective Gerain, Officer Vogler, and Sergeant from the Village of Liberty Police Department boxed the vehicle in, forcing it to stop. Both suspects fled from the vehicle on foot into the woods, and officers gave chase. Both suspects were taken into custody after a foot pursuit shortly thereafter within further incident. It is because of your dedication to keeping the residents of the town of Fallsburg safe that these cases were brought to a close. Our agency will continue to investigate and arrest people who feel they can violate the citizens of the town of Fallsburg. You are commended for the outstanding job you perform. This letter will be placed in your file and read before the town board. Thank you for your dedication to the police department and the community you serve. I am proud to serve this community with all of you. Sincerely, Chief Brendan Pavesi, Chief of Police. So that was for Sergeant Christopher Casero, Detective Kyle Gerain, Detective John Chevalier, and Officer Stephen Vogler.
Councilwoman Deanna would like to offer recognition as well.
Okay, the first thing I want to compliment and congratulations Chief Brendan Pavesi for passing the chief exam. And I hope you're here until I'm old and gray, okay? Another thing, I was at the Woodburn, I was at the park on Sunday. They had the kids playing football, and we have an EMT from Woodburn, Nancy McLean. She was there the whole time. She doesn't get paid or anything. She took care of the kids that got a little bruised up and stuff, and kudos to Nancy McLean. I thank her very much for her service because she didn't have to do it. The ambulance that was going to be on call, they wanted $1,000. And she says, I will do it for free. This is for the kids. This is our kids our future. So,
Okay, so then I'd like to open it up to public comment. I just want to quickly say that our Stephen Vignati will not be presenting tonight, so the 4 items that we have on the work session are not going to be, are going to be rescheduled for the next work session. However, for those who came out for anything on the items that we're supposed to discuss tonight, please give your comments, ask your questions, we'll take note of it, and then, and hopefully you'll be here for that night, but at least we'll be able to take that into consideration. Also that it's not a Q&A, so just make your comment, ask your questions, we'll take note of it, and then just move on to the next person. So do we have anyone signed up tonight?
First person I have is James Legari.
Mr. Supervisor, board members. At the last town board meeting, several residents questioned a potential increase in the water and sewer rates. The board had a long discussion, both voicing pros and cons about raising the water rates, sewer rates by 10%. However, a decision was not made. There were no numbers about how much extra revenue this rate increase would generate. Given current inflation, a 10% increase would barely make a difference in 2 or 3 years. It seems to me that the water and sewer rates need to be, or should be, annually increased equal to the cost of inflation to cover the town's costs for labor, water, insurance, repairs, etc. So all of those costs go up directly tied to inflation. In that same meeting, the town residents learned that there was a study done in 2011 that Supervisor and Simon was quoting statistics from a synopsis of that study. It's my understanding that CDM Smith, headquartered in Boston, was hired to do a very expensive and comprehensive study of both the town, water, and sewer systems. Prior to this meeting, no one was aware this study had been done, as the full report was never made public. It also is my understanding that a full report, the original report, cannot be found. Although this study is 13 years old, it must have original data, cost analysis, projections, rate structures, and recommendations that would apply today. I asked that a copy of this study be requested from CDM Smith and put into the town's website so that all of us can see the data and what the recommendations were to the board in 2011. The board will, at some point, be proposing increases to the water and sewer systems for the local people, and the summer people, as well as local businesses. This will require a public hearing for all residents and business owners to have their voices heard. The board should make a thorough representation of how it will affect every resident and business now and in the future. I respectfully ask the supervisor to schedule and publicize a town hall meeting so this matter can be discussed, preferably at the senior center, because I think a lot of people will come. I want to read you something that was in the Thursday edition of our local newspaper. The headline, "Division of Planning Draws Heated Discussion in Bethel." It starts with a letter from the Sullivan County Division of Planning, Community Development, and Environmental Management was presented at the Bethel Town Board meeting August 28th. It stated, quote, "The county-wide assessment of potable and wastewater infrastructure is now underway," close quote. It identifies Delaware Engineering as the team that will be, quote, "reaching out to municipal departments and water system operators," quote, close quote, "in an effort to gather information. The assessment is expected to provide a comprehensive understanding of water infrastructure throughout the county, including analysis of water and sewer, GIS mapping, recommendations, and planning, etc. At this same meeting, several people spoke about their wells going dry and having water pressure problems. And these were people with private wells. And this is something I've talked to you all before about the private wells in the town of Fallsburg. There was one of the residents who spoke, and he said, let's see. He explained that he had been attending the Liberty Planning Board meeting several times. He mentioned that a hydrologist tested the water supply of several individuals who complained they had no water, and that this test showed that the water was fine. So I don't know who that individual is, or who he hired, or how it was done to test, but I do know if you hire somebody to go out and do those tests, they're not cheap. But I'm sure that this town, and all of you people, also received that letter from the Sullivan County Division of Planning, Community Development, and Environmental Management. I mention that because I'd asked that you consider the fact that the county was doing, or is in the process of doing a study, and using the data that you might find from that study could possibly make a difference as to how you all decide to move forward with the water sewer issues that we have. I also learned that the Delaware River Basin Commission, the town of Fallsburg Consolidated Water District, and this goes back to 2011. So this was about the same time that the town hired the company to do the water study. There's a tremendous amount of data in this that ties, or must have tied, to what took place back in 2011 with whoever it was that you hired to do the study. And I'm going to give you a copy for the record. And then I'll hand you a copy so you can have one for each of your members, just in the event that that particular document is no longer available.
Jim, is this yours?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. I learned this afternoon that there's another document. I can give you all of the numbers if you want. This again is the Delaware River Basin Commission, located in drainage area to special protected waters for the town of Fallsburg. I haven't had a chance to read this whole document. It's several pages long. But what I did pick up from it is that this particular document was issued to an application submitted to the Delaware River Basin Commission, the RBC, etc., on October 20th of 2021. So this goes back a little bit also. And it goes on to say that the project was reviewed by the commission in accordance with the administrative agreement between the Delaware River Basin and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. And all of this public hearing was held in February on this document in 2022. That first document I gave you, if you look at the back page, it actually, that document expired today. Okay? Now, I didn't make copies for you for all of this new document here, but you can find it, because obviously I found it. But I want to quote from page 9 out of this document. That is now the document that the town must use when they drill for a well, or whatever it is that you do, because there's a lot of information in here that the town must follow as a result of whatever got put together here for the Delaware River Basin Commission. But on page 9 of this document, I'd like to read what it says. This kind of jumped out at me. The document holder.
Excuse me, could everybody be quiet while he's speaking? Thank you.
The document holder projected peak day and monthly demands exceeded the system's combined well capacity and allocation approved in this document. The document holder shall conduct a groundwater availability assessment to determine the extent and the capacity of the aquifer or aquifers in the area that may be utilized for additional water supply. The result of this assessment must be submitted to the Commission within 3 years of the approval date of this document. So without reading all 15 or 20 pages of this, but focusing on this particular section that I'm pointing out to you, it tells me that there's another document that you all should have that would have to be part of the consideration you'd have to give to any rate increases or whatever you might plan on doing for maintenance of the existing systems, both the water and sewer. And it says here, you've got 3 years to complete some kind of a water study. Now, how that ties into what the county is doing, if it's something the county is doing that you can use, or is it going to be something that you all are going to have to pay for yourselves? The approval date of this document was March 9th of 2022. And it goes for 10 years. You're going to be, unless there's a modification to it for some reason that you have to make. So since you've got 3 years to do this study, it reads the way I read it, you've got about 1 more year left if you are forced to comply with what the document that you're now working under with the Delaware Water District. Thank you all for your time. And let me say this, I said it before, I'm not here to point fingers at this board, the previous boards, or anybody that may have served on it. My concern is, always has been, that whatever this town does is going to affect the people in the residential part of our town that has private wells. And in our previous meeting, I told you how many private wells there were, told you the study that was done in 1981 is no longer available. But all of this, from my perspective, kind of comes together. When I hear about people in Bethel getting before their town board and complaining about their water issues, heard the same thing for people complaining to the town board in Liberty. I guess I'm the one that's complaining to the town board in Fallsburg. And I don't mean it to be a complaint. I'm just pointing out these issues that I think we should all be aware of. Because if you're originally from California, where I was born, and someday you turn on your faucet and water doesn't come out, it's not going to be like what we had on La Vista Road where a tank went dry or somebody left the faucet on. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like we don't have any water. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you.
Anyone else signed up?
So next we have Stan Wagner.
Good evening, all.
Hello.
There's been lots of talk about Murray's Chicken. There's been discussions about how much they should be paying for water when compared to homeowners. There's been discussions about Murray's Chickens and their sewer issue and whether or not the town should raise their water rates, that they should receive some sort of subsidy to repair the water rates issue. Some members of this board feel that Murray should be handled with kid gloves, and the town shouldn't raise their rates and should help them by paying some of the cost for repairs. In fact, there was so much concern for Murray's Chicken, it makes one wonder if some board members put businesses in the town before the residents. I wouldn't worry about Murray's Chickens. They can absorb the increased water bills and pay their fair share, as well as paying for any repairs to their waste systems. They have a yearly revenue of $50 million, and that number can be as high as $84 million. So the question is this board willing to work for those that elected them and those is this board willing to work for those that elected them and those impacted the most with regards to the water infrastructure? Or is the board going to play favorites? Thank you.
Pam Wagner.
Good evening, Town Board Supervisor, Town Board members, and the Town of Fallsburg residents. As a recap to our last Town Board meeting on September 3rd, we had been informed by the Town Board member Nathan Steingart, who was the Deputy Supervisor of the Town Board at that time, that a 2011 water study was done for the Town of Fallsburg. I had learned from two main contributors to the 2018 Comprehensive Plan that this 2011 water and sewer analysis report was withheld from them when creating the comprehensive plan. I had also learned that the town supervisor, Stephen Vigliente, at that time had released this information at a town board meeting, but did not give this important study to the 2018 Comprehensive Planning Board. He made mention that Will Illing, town engineer at that time, had the study and did not pass it along to the Comprehensive Planning Board. I do not understand why this study was not given to the Comprehensive Planning Board members by the supervisor, as it would have made a significant difference in the planning of developments that appear to have gotten out of control. Example, 11 large developments are approved for the Loch Sheldrick area alone. The other day, I spoke to one of the authors of the Town of Fallsburg's Water and Sewer Rate Analysis Report by CDM Smith. I had asked him for a complete copy of the report, but he said sadly that this report had been deleted 7 years after the creation. He was more than willing to explain to me the basic premises of this report so I could pass this information to the town supervisor and board, which I am doing now. He also gave me his direct phone number so that the supervisor could call him and ask him any questions pertaining to this report. His name is Joe Ridge, and the contact phone number is 603-222-8330. He explained to me that this report wasn't just about a water and sewer rate analysis study. The study included looking at the capital infrastructure requirements, evaluating projecting expenses for this capital improvement infrastructure and rate increases, plus helping with getting approvals. The approximate cost of this study was about $40,000 to $50,000. It has been 13 years since this last study, based on the fact that it was not considered back then or in the 2018 comprehensive plan. I strongly suggest that a new study is done and a new comprehensive plan done with consideration to the present state of the water and sewer infrastructure. We are fooling ourselves if we think that a 10% increase in the water and sewer rates will correct our present infrastructure situation. We have seen what happened to our infrastructure at the start of our summer season this year. This is not about shutting down the developments. This is about taking a hard look at what will happen if we put more stress on the plumbing of our town water and sewer infrastructure. The developers can push all they want, but if they do not recognize that the entire town can lose the most precious resource we have, then we all will lose it. Not just the year-round residents, but all of the new developments that they are building. I want to make perfectly clear that our water supply is finite, meaning there will be an end to getting water if this town is not responsible about its infrastructure and building. I asked the board to look at the reality of what might be. We are seeing signs of it now, and if we do not do anything about it, we will all need to find another place to live. I ask respectfully, get the proper studies, the proper engineering reports, the proper water and sewer reports before considering allowing anyone to connect into the water system that is now faulting. Thank you for your time and patience, respectfully.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Charles Novak.
Hi there. I'm a Loch Sheldrick resident. It should be clear to everyone that the town of Fallsburg has a serious issue of providing water to residents while also supporting economic growth and new residential development. The town faces a unique set of conditions. Our population swells during the summer months, and that increased demand for water impacts for water and sewage impacts our treatment facilities. Adding new development simply exacerbates the problem. That being the case, as a year-round resident, I strongly urge the town to look to residents of the new developments, to summer residents, and to summer businesses to bear the financial burden of funding the improvements for water and sewer infrastructure. The town needs to adopt a peak period pricing approach to water and sewage, a policy that will shift the financial burden to those seasonal visitors and residents, as well as to the occupants of the newly constructed homes. My recommendation is as follows. Immediately enact a moratorium on development until appropriate arrangements can be made to accommodate additional infrastructure. Raise water and sewer rates by 50% immediately. Offer exemptions to people whose primary residence is in Fallsburg, who live here year-round, or are unable to pay an increase. Enact significant inspection and hookup fees for new residential development based on a per-bathroom assessment. Property tax assessments for new construction need to be significantly higher than they are for existing properties. Raise water sewer rates during the summer months by 100% for resorts, retreats, summer camps, bungalow colonies, essentially any properties whose summer occupancy exacerbates the lack of water and sewage treatment capacity. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Barb Schmidt, please.
Hi there. I'm very happy to be here, just making public comment and not here asking for money. I'm here to tell everybody about a great event. So those of you who know, for the past 4 years, we've had the Manhattan Short Film Festival here in town. We've been fortunate to have it a couple of years at Morningside, and then we were able to move it to Hurleyville. This year, thanks to the generous donation of the Office of Aileen Gunther, we're able to provide the entire festival. So that's 2 nights of 10 short films each night, and that's going to be at no charge. All you have to do is go on the Hurleyville Performing Arts website, reserve a seat, and that way you can just watch the film festival in luxury. If I may take a minute to say what it is, the Short Film Festival is 10 movies. They're all short, they're like 20 minutes apiece, and they're from all over the world. Some of them are in English, those that are not in English have subtitles, but because they're short films, they tend to be very powerful. So it's either 10-15 minutes of funny stuff and you're laughing, or 10-20 minutes of something that like you're watching and and then all of a sudden it hits you with this impact at the end. So I hope everybody can come. I gave a few synopsis to people who came here early, but anybody else who would like it, I'm happy to give you more. Thank you. All right, thank you for your time. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to the important part. So it's September 26th and 28th at 6 p.m. The film festival, it's the same both nights. So whether you go on Thursday or whether you go on Saturday, you'll see the same movies, and the runtime is a little over 2.5 hours. But again, it's free if you order your tickets in advance. Sure, yes. Because you have the shortest commute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barb.
All right, and
Thank
thank
you.
you. And if we can't ask our assembly member next year, I hope I'll be able to come and beg for money next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Adam,
Well, that was my favorite soap opera tonight, but I figured I had to come back, this is much better.
Are you trying to say we're a soap opera?
No, I'm saying soap operas, it's not even close, this is
Oh,
so
okay.
much better.
All right.
Thank you. Good. I actually wanted to introduce myself to the new deputy supervisor, but I don't actually know who he is. Yeah.
Is that here?
Maybe we're gonna get him. So with that being said, since he's not here, I was just, I was curious about a few things. He's, not getting paid, correct? No, he's getting the pleasure of the supervisor. And, so there's 5 board members, right? He was the best choice out of all of them. I'm just, no, I was just curious, because I mean, we do have council people that are elected officials, and I was just wondering why maybe they weren't part of the solution to finding a deputy supervisor.
I don't wanna get into a question and answer, but if you leave your phone number, I'd be happy to give you a call and discuss it with
Alright,
you.
so, because there are other options too, you could also get former supervisors from different people, and he is one or, no, right, I don't think so.
He's a resident of Fallsburg.
Also, anybody could technically be deputy supervisor. I didn't get my number, but okay. But anyway, with that being said, I'm just curious, deputy supervisor or, finding money for, our infrastructure issues? I think, one might be more important than the other. And I feel like the lack of, effort going into finding money for what we actually really need here, as opposed to, tit for tat, between board members, not to say who's right or who's wrong. I mean, I know the right, so that's besides the point. I just feel like, there should be more emphasis placed on what actually needs to be done to make this town, something that's viable for summer residents, year-round residents, as opposed to, some of the things that have been going on here. And again, a deputy supervisor that wasn't elected or anything like that, that happened last week, weeks ago, which I'm not sure. I did read the statute. Again, I'm not an attorney or an officer of the law, as kind of contested. However, isn't there a time frame that you have in order to actually appoint that person? I believe it's.
Sir, it's not a go back and forth
So I
kind
think
of
it's 6
situation.
days, 5 days, right? So I don't know if that happened before you did that or not. I mean, I guess I could look that up. I mean, you can maybe get it for the meeting maybe, or maybe next week, or hopefully maybe when we vote on sewer, I don't know, whichever comes first. Yeah, so I don't know. I was at the house with my kids, they were fighting, they were come here, we fight here anyway, so I see some adults fight. And I had to get them to try to do their homework. Here, I'm just trying to get here, maybe to come together and do something for the town, like find some infrastructure, find some money for our infrastructure, and actually not have to raise taxes, because ultimately I think that's gonna be what happens, and that makes you one-term supervisor, so, which I guess you obviously know that. I feel like there's no, I don't know if Fallsburg gets paid that well, but I don't think anyone's raised taxes, after their first term, during that. So, not that I'm your campaign manager by any means, but I'm just saying, that would be my recommendation, is to try to figure out how to not raise taxes. But in order to do that, you need to find some water, or oil, find oil, and be better off.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't have any.
I do, Eve.
Dave.
Unmute, I don't know, I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, hi. Abe Ruppner.
Abe Rutner.
I would like to address a few comments, especially the comment that suggested that the summer residents should pay 100% increase on their water and all these, inflammatory comments. So I just want to, just a matter of fact, to clear the record, these summer residents are paying taxes for school they don't use. They pay taxes for services they don't use, like a year-round residents, most of them. How about we give them a break that they should only have to pay 2 months tax? So why should it be only the water that he wants to suck out everything from the summer community, But when it comes to take their taxes for schools, then it's okay to take their taxes even though they don't use them. So, all due respect, this is a very inflammatory comment, especially for a community that contributes for taxes, contributes for the economy, and I agree that there is a problem, but the solution should not be by saying inflammatory comments like that. So that's number one. Number two, I respect what James Legari said about the water, because he was saying about California. So first of all, New York State is not California, and Sullivan County is not California. We have the Navasink River over here, the reservoir. I heard all this not having water in many places. Why? Trying to investigate, and I even asked him straight, you should tell me who doesn't have water. And I had a gentleman that actually came up in the Liberty Town Board and said he had a problem of water in Kelly Bridge Road, and I verified that it wasn't true, because he had many other neighbors that didn't have these problems, that are closer to the well that he was referring to, the big well that was sucking out the water as per him. And I saw that it wasn't actually true. So I'm trying to see, just people saying I have problems, they might have a problem. I'm not saying they're not saying the truth. It might be they have a problem with their well. There might be other problems. I'm not saying anything. But just saying, throwing stuff out there without any evidence, scientifically or engineering, is literally nonsense. It's like, of course, it's people will say stuff, but when you ask whom and what and when, no one knows.
Yes, we do.
Actually, I'm sorry?
Yes, we do.
So-
There's no going back and forth. Let Mr. Redner talk, please.
Okay, so once we finish the meeting, you'll give me the names, so we'll send the hydrologists to check their wells. I have no problem, I'll pay it from my pocket. And if their problem is their own well, they will pay me the hydrologist. If the problem is the water of the aquifer, fine, I will pay it. Okay, so let's clear this up, okay? Now, again, I spoke to, first of all, the problem with La Vista Drive was not a well problem. It was a piping problem. So yes, there is an infrastructure problem. Fine. I'm not going to deny that there is an infrastructure problem. But again, instead of going to inflammatory comments like that, let's look at the facts and let's see how we can resolve it. Saying increase the summer residents, it's us versus them. All due respect, those people pay taxes, and you're not saying, let's give them, you know what, we'll pay them, we'll charge them more for the water, but we'll give them a credit for the taxes. You're not saying that. So it's not fair. You can't take one hand, but kick them in the other. One more comment that I was thinking about, because the last comprehensive plan encouraged everybody to build in the water district, and basically the rest of the county, the town, was basically to have their own system, their own sewer system, and their own water system was kind of non-existence anymore, which it was before. So how about, yes, you don't want to add to the infrastructure, it's going to cost more money. Why should we diversify? We should try to have clustered here and there and here, instead of having everything concentrated in one area. I'm not saying this is the right solution. I'm just saying to think out of the box. But to say, we'll put a moratorium, and then what is going to be after the moratorium? We did a moratorium in 2016, and if we are now better or not. And also to say that Sullivan County is overpopulated, while we have Orange County in our neighborhood, and we have Ulster County now. They have much more population than us. How can they handle it? Obviously, there is a way to handle it, but of course it has to be in a smart way. But to say these inflammatory comments, all due respect, it's not helping anybody. So I appreciate you for giving me the time, and I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak?
Ari Grunheim.
Good afternoon, thank you for giving me the time to speak. I first want to make a question to the board, or give a suggestion to the board. I know Paul gets very upset when it gets noisy. One of the reasons it gets noisy is when people talk too long. A lot of boards have a 3-minute limit. Probably would have been a great
Can I just
idea.
make a correction,
Yeah.
Ari? It's not that. We have a unit here that has to record everybody's voices, so when people are talking, it doesn't pick up what people are saying. And we have people who cannot come to the meetings, that can't hear.
I get annoyed as well.
So,
I get annoyed as well.
I'm not trying to offend
No,
anybody
don't
out
worry,
there,
don't worry, don't worry.
okay? I'm doing my
I want you to
job.
be happy.
All right, well, I'm doing my
And
job.
the way to make Paul happy is to give everyone 3 minutes.
That's right, make me happy today.
Give everyone a 3-minute limit to talk. And that's why we don't have people come up with pages and pages and read. They read. Nobody listens. Not the board listens. Not the audience listens. Everyone claps. No one heard even what he said. But anyways, we all know what the intentions are. People who want to disrupt any growth. People who want this town to be a ghost town. That's fine. But we know there's enough water. Town of Fallsburg has wells that give out way more enough water than we need. The problems we have is transportation, as Eve said. It's the piping that's crumbling. It's infrastructure that's crumbling. It's not the water supply. We have enough water. Thank you, everyone. All the towns around us have enough water. Whatever water we need, God gives us. God gave us a good planet with enough water, with enough resources. Everything is going to be all good. New York City sucks out billions of gallons from the same aquifer, but for town of Fallsburg, it's probably a fraction of a percent it's going to save. That's going to save the environment. We all know it's nonsense. We all know what the intentions are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more.
I have one more too.
Okay.
Ryan Mitro.
Hi there. Is that Abe on?
Ryan Mitro.
Hi there, guys. Just to bring you a little bit of what's happening at Timber Ridge on Route 42, across from the town barn. We heard that there is people in there and excavating and have done, and actually went all the way up to other property owners' land and have dug like 90-something holes up there. We haven't seen the study, the impact study for that since last year, since we added some pages. There's Native American burial grounds that now have been destroyed because nobody is doing any kind of research, nobody's doing any environmental impacts. There's 15 wells up there that now have been destroyed. And if you think you have water in number 13 aquifer in New York State, you won't have water.
Ryan,
Alright.
Ryan,
I'm
you
speaking
need to address
to
the
the whole
board.
committee.
Ryan, you need to follow
That's what it is.
Ryan.
I'm speaking to you now.
Okay,
And, okay,
you are addressing
speaking-
the
yes.
board. If you can't
Yes.
follow the
I'm
rules, then you
following
have
the
to
rules.
sit down.
yes.
Okay, stop looking at them.
Relax.
I'm just telling you, you have to follow the rules.
I am, that's the same thing. So, again, we are number one, we are 13th of an aquifer in New York State. And, yeah, I'm Jewish too. My ancestors have been Jewish for thousands of years, you know? Maybe we should go back to the original traditions, like don't shit in your water, or don't cut all the fruit trees on your land. But again, on that property now, you're talking about 14 wells that have actually fed our wells in the prison field for decades. If you speak to the people that worked here in the 30s, they'll tell you those springs and that mountain that they are destroying now is what feeds that cornfield. So if you don't get, I know there's 900 gallons per minute, we all know that. We know the pipes, and we know that those pipes are 50 to 60 feet below the ground. So that's the concern, like, let's fix the infrastructure, let's fix it, and fix that. And then, yes, we can maybe have that 900 gallons per minute, but when you then take away the mountaintops that are producing trillions of gallons of water from the rain, and it goes in the bedrock, it's my hunting ground since I'm 1 year old. So my hunting stand, my grandfather's hunting stand, is gone now, it was bulldozed. But we know the water that runs there is like this much water. And it goes through the whole mountain, and then it disappears right before it comes to Route 42. And it disappears into the mountain. So people are not doing surveys like they should. You think you're going to blast that mountain, and they're digging giant lakes now in bedrock. 30 illegal immigrants are working it. We have people that were working it that went to survey. There's oil jugs that fell into the pits that are in these fucking forests. It's insane. I'm sorry. It's insane.
Okay,
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
All right,
They're
no,
making a request for you to sit down.
But
Okay.
again, you should do research
Okay.
before impact studies or anything. Before
Okay.
people start destroying the land.
Ryan, your time is
before
up.
anything.
Thank you, but your time is up.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So I don't have anybody.
I have Abraham Rosenberg online.
Good job, Steve. Yeah, good fucking
Hello.
Excuse me,
Hello,
stop.
everyone. Good evening. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the great work of the Fallsburg Police Department under the great leadership of Chief Pazesi, and I want to congratulate him as well. I got to tell you, under his leadership, this department is being run so beautifully, and we really should give them a round of applause for the work that they're doing. At the same time, I want to remind everyone, of 9/11, the best comment that I saw is that we should all behave like we behaved September 12th of that year. We should all live in peace and harmony, one with each other, and we would have a different world. And I'm not going to go into the comments because my colleague Abe Rutner and Ari Greener already had said what they had to say. But again, I think we could, my only comment that I would say is, and I brought it up on a comment under the newspaper as well, was infrastructure money taken from developers many years from past administrations, which nobody to today's date has accountability where that money went. But the words are being used continuously, they should pay. I want to say they did pay, but I wish I would know where that money went. And with that, I would like to thank the board for your leadership, and thank you, keep up your great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anybody else.
Yes. Anyone else want to speak from the public? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public portion, and we'll move on to department head updates. The first one on my list is Gulf Pro, Jeff and Taylor.
Nothing. So I'll be speaking for them. Steve, can you shut the door? This was written by Jeff. Both courses have enjoyed a busy summer. Many of our southern clientele have departed for warmer weather. We are in excellent condition thanks to Pat McNamara and his staff. Respectfully submitted, Jeff Walsh, PGA. And that's what I got.
Next up is Golf Superintendent Pat McNamara.
Okay, I'll be speaking for him as well. Having a good season, few mechanical and irrigation issues, nothing we couldn't handle. New green on 7 at Terry Bray on schedule to open next spring. Still having trouble getting employees. Open invitation to all board members to come up and take a tour to see our beautiful golf courses. Thank you.
Alright, so next we'll move on to Arnold from Parks.
Calling you speak for me?
I asked you. Give me the list.
Good evening. Start off with some park stuff. This year, the boats, we had a great year in boats. Revenue was the most we've ever done. We've increased every year. Had a great staff with Steve and Patty, with camps and just handling people. We had 3 young kids at the dock. Everything worked. It was really a good year, so we're proud of that. Labor Day, the parks were okay. They had always have a DJ at the end for our campers. They enjoyed that. The pools were quiet this year, surprisingly. When we did have the heat, we really didn't get as many people, and with the cost of what it costs to run a pool, I'm going to bring some ideas to the board in the future as we budget for next year. We were busy today, and we will be tomorrow striping the golf course. Anthony from Highway is just the greatest. He was up there, and we lined the whole thing, and we had our painter out there, so we should finish that tomorrow. We definitely increased parking up there, which has always been a problem. Football has started. Pat does a great job. He takes care of our football field. We do the striping and everything else. There's high school games, there's youth football, so it gets a good activity, and that'll go right into the end of October. Just to piggyback on the night out, was really a nice event at the park. It was good to see a lot of people there. And hopefully next year we don't get rained out when it's planned in early August. Our park, we're just busy. We're gonna be going into the season, all our gardens all over, we're gonna have to cut them down. You know, probably in a month we'll be doing that. Cleaning our paddle boats. We already did our canoes and rowboats. We power wash them. We will be painting the rowboats like we do every year. Those are, you can't get those rowboats anywhere. So we take good care of them. The park will be closing October 14th. The grounds are still open. Someone asked me a good question, does the park close then? No. Facilities are there to be used. You know, dog park, of course, is the hit of, we just attract a lot of people. So we're lucky to have that. And we were the first one in the county with that. So Fallsburg was ahead of the curve. We did our final cleanup in Woodburn. I shouldn't say final, because if need be, but all the stores are closed. We pick our cans up, get the streets into shape, any garbage. Marie's Park, we restoned our picnic area. Anthony dropped off some crusher. We went down with our machine and made some parking, filled the holes. So it's still a nice place to go and visit. That's really about it. Oh, I will say the Manhattan Shorts, it's phenomenal. If you haven't gone, everything Barbara said was spot on. I loved it when it was at the park. Now it's in the theater. Really like 20 minutes, emotional. It gets you everywhere. Really great. So.
I do have something to say to you. I was there on Sunday with the youth football. You do a great job. Everybody was there. If somebody dropped a piece of garbage on the floor, your staff was right there to pick it up. They were trying to show people where to park because parking is limited up there. And you and your staff, you're doing a really good job. And I want to thank you for that because it's a hard position to be in, to tell you the truth.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anything on your park manager?
Yes, I think I have a candidate. I guess the board will handle that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is our police chief.
Hi, everybody. Even though summer's over, calls have not stopped. A lot of people sometimes think that we get a few months off, but that's definitely not the case. August, we answered almost 1,200 calls of service, which generated 42 cases and 30 arrests. And when I say arrest, I mean bodied arrest. It's not one person gets charged with 5 things, that's 5 arrests. Some departments do it that way. We do it by body in Fallsburg. I want to thank the town board and Arnold. Randy kind of stole my thunder. I was going to say Arnold's an unsung hero of this town, and whether it be anything I need at the station, to fix an outlet, send someone down, help us with National Night Out. National Night Out was unbelievable. The fireworks were, everybody calling out, they were beautiful. One of the best shows I've seen. I want to thank Jake Miller, who's our school resource officer, who headed up National Night Out for us, and all the PBA members that attended. You know, engaging with the community and our youth regularly is only going to help us get stronger with our community. On another note, our $250,000 grant that we got, it's being put to good use. Our state-of-the-art drone is here. We're getting ready to roll that out and put it in service. We put in a complete new phone system in the police station. We had these old copper lines from years ago that we were having issues with, and we were losing lines, so we got a whole complete new system put in. And the e-bike, I'm real excited about that, is showing up this week, so no more pedaling, I guess, right? With the recent retired personnel and some voluntary resignations and people going to the state police and other departments, our patrol division needs about 16 people to function efficiently. We're down to 10 right now. So I just want to thank all my guys and girls. There's some of them that have sacrificed vacations, postponing them until next year. They're missing their days off, their time away from their families, and they're working this overtime to help fill these vacancies while we're in the process of rebuilding the department over the next 8 months. The police academy is 6 months. It started yesterday. We have 5 new recruits in there. We have the most recruits out of any department in Sullivan and/or Orange County in there. They made it through day 1 and day 2, which is really exciting because that doesn't happen all the time. I am expecting 2 more departures. One October 3rd. Officer Denderina had her second baby. She's decided to stay home and be a mom, and I get it. And we kind of knew that was going to happen, so I'm really, really happy for her and her family. And I might be losing someone to the state police, so my detectives are busy doing more background checks that the town has seen to get these positions filled sooner than later to try to help us until we get back to full staff. Just on another note, there's been a huge uptick across New York State, according to what they call our wire, in scams targeting the elderly. And I just want to stress to anybody, do not send money. Do not give them personal information. Do not go to the dollar store and buy $10,000 in gift cards, which we just ran into, and send them to somebody. Please, call the police station and ask for one of the officers, and they will tell you, do not give any information. It's a scam. No one is calling you and telling you your son has been involved in an accident. We're going to come to your door and knock on the door and tell you personally. So please, if anybody knows anybody, if they have any questions, they can feel free to call the station. We'll be glad to help. That's all I have.
Thank you.
All right, next up it would be Greg Petula.
Okay,
He's not here.
I'll read for him. Dear Town Board, I am unable to attend tonight's meeting. I am leaving directly after work today for a scheduled vacation I take every year at this time. Below is a brief department update. Any members having any questions, feel free to contact me. Department separation between building and code enforcement is going well. Mike and I are coming up with the spreadsheet of the department of duties and responsibilities for your review. We have been working very well together with the transition. The building department clerks have been doing a phenomenal job keeping up with all the changes and workloads. I have been building inspector. I have a new building inspector that started last week, James Schulte. I am in the process of training him for this new position. He is working out very well so far. I have posted help wanted ads on the New York State Code Enforcement's website for one building inspector. We have received a couple of resumes, planning to schedule interviews Wednesday and Thursday next week. Diane will email board members of scheduled times if anyone plans to attend. Permit totals for the month of August: 61 permits issued, certificates of occupancy compliance 34 issued, performed around 175 construction inspections, planning and zoning meetings and review. Greg Petula, Town Fallsburg, Court Enforcement Officers.
All right, last but not least, Mike Pinella.
Good evening. Thank you for the invite. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Michael Pinella. I'm newly tasked to oversee the Department of Code Enforcement and Fire Safety. I'm entering my 4th month, and first I want to thank the town board for the opportunity, and working with all the department heads and different department heads has been really great. Just to let you know, the Department of Code Enforcement is committed to protect our community's environment, safety, image, health, and welfare for the benefit of our residences. I ask everybody to contact the department for any concerns you may have. Your comments can be anonymous at your request. Your input is extremely important as we go down this road of separating the building department from the code enforcement. I'm going to piggyback off what Greg said. It's been a pleasure to start working with Greg and to accomplish our vision of Fallsburg. We recently just hired one code enforcement officer that just started this past Monday, and we have another hire starting next Monday. We're going to extensive training to assure the professionalism and mannerism that are being brought to this town is acceptable, and we look forward to making an impact. So any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for department head updates. We have a couple of agenda items. So agenda item number 1, motion to approve town board minutes dated 8/20/24. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 2, motion to approve town board minutes dated 8/27/2024. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 3, Motion to approve warrant number 08C24 dated 8/23/24 in the amount of $532,686.78. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, so that's it for.
I have something else.
I,
Want to make a motion, we send a resolution appointing Mike Ben Simone as Personnel Director and appoint Scott DeBose as Personnel Director. Second.
I'm sorry, could you just say that again?
We were sending the resolution appointing Mike Ben Simone as Personnel Director and appoint Scott DeBose as Personnel Director. Second.
Interesting. First, all right, so we have a motion and a second, let's move to discussion. So where did this come from?
Doesn't matter who makes the motion. It's something,
Okay.
you have a second?
Well,
Well,
you
it's-
made
it's
the
in
motion,
discussion.
he made the second, so that's all it takes.
Right.
So this,
It doesn't have to be discussed.
all right, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? All right, motion passes. Okay, so, next I will entertain a motion to enter an executive session to discuss, current business.
I have a motion.
Another motion.
I have a motion to approve the appointment
Hold
of.
on, because this wasn't on the agenda, you guys gotta go a little bit slower for the agenda.
Sorry. I do have a couple of things for the public. 9/11 is tomorrow. There's a couple of memorials that are going on. The college is having theirs at noontime. Monticello Fire Department at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. And Liberty's having theirs at 6, if anyone's interested.
But you're just making announcements.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, okay, so you're saying they're just announcements for the college and,
Yeah.
and.
You don't even have to, it was just for the public.
Okay, that's fine.
Now I have a motion.
Okay, so, all right, let's do that.
Motion to approve employment of Harris Seletsky as park manager.
Second.
Who? You're gonna have to
Harris.
spell his name because I don't know who this is.
Harris, Harris. Same. Selettsky.
And what is this job?
Park manager, effective 9/30.
Didn't we fill that position?
He quit.
Okay, did we post a new
Yes,
posting?
yes, and 5 qualified and interviewed. Two people went in, one took the position, which he quit, and one declined. So we don't have anyone, but this young man, I've gone through his resume, and I think he'll be very good for our town.
Does
So
the
you're
rest of the
making a
town
motion
second?
and Jeff is making the second?
I second it.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
What's the, did we get an application?
Yes, we did.
I think we still have another.
I believe Arnold should have the application. I have the resume,
Did anyone interview him?
yes.
Right.
Who
And
interviewed this person?
park manager makes $67,000 a year.
But who interviewed him?
I did,
You interviewed him?
yes. And I believe he would be an asset to us. Because we need someone to take care of our park the way it has been taken care of. Because years past,
It never ran so good as that.
it was horrible.
Never.
It was awful.
So what experience does he have to run the park? I don't understand.
Yeah, would you like to read the resume? Go ahead.
It's okay, we have a motion in a second, so I
Yeah.
think you should call to a vote.
okay, just, you guys gotta slow down because you're putting stuff on
Sorry.
that wasn't on the agenda.
Harris
Jen needs-
Seletsky, is there any relation?
There's just, you guys have,
Yes.
you don't have to have this session.
It's called nepotism.
Why?
It is, really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, now, hold on. I need to let you all know that this board is the ones making the decision. If they make a mistake, you have to let them make a mistake, okay? That's their thing, you know? If, whatever that decision is, they'll have to work it out later, okay? We're just gonna let them either sink or swim, okay? That's what we're gonna do. So I get it, but that's them.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes.
We got one more.
So it's 4-0, hold on.
It's 4 here.
You guys gotta wait for me and Jen.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna make a motion to set a public hearing to change our police commission law to 5 commissioners, which would be the town board members.
Second. 5 commissioners that are the town board members?
Yes,
Do you have a draft of the law?
I'll provide it.
Do you have a date to set the hearing?
Need 2 weeks, right? Is it a week?
Well, I have to have time to put it in the paper, so I'm gonna have to have
How much
that.
time does he need? What do you think?
Well, it all depends on what the schedule is with the, Democrat is the official newspaper, so I have to check what, the dates are.
There's no
Maybe I
rush,
have
we've been
10
talking about this
days.
for 9 months, so. We
Okay,
need 3
whatever,
weeks?
I have to have it, in writing,
So 3
so I know what
3
I'm talking
weeks?
about, 3 weeks.
Perfect. 3 weeks from whatever date that is from tonight.
I second it.
Okay, let's say it all over now, Nate, so that.
To set a public hearing to change our local law,
So October 1st?
that's the date, October 1st, to 5 police commissioners who will be the elected town board members.
So you're making the motion,
I second it.
and you're seconding it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
That's 402?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else?
Okay, anything else?
Motion to close the meeting?
No executive session?
No, I don't feel we should have an attorney being present today.
We have an attorney present by Zoom. We do have 9 items.
Who's the attorney that's on Zoom?
Dylan Harris is on Zoom.
And we have Delaware Engineering coming in, they're already here.
Okay. You can make a
What's
motion
so-
if you get a second, I don't know. You're the supervisor.
All right, so motion, okay, I'll entertain a motion to enter an executive session to discuss, was it personnel matters?
You gonna record it this week?
Contractual.
Out of curiosity, or not?
Okay,
Say again?
okay,
You
let's
gonna-
just stick with the
I was just trying to
motion.
check, yes, there's no motion on the floor.
Okay, personnel matters and what else?
And pending litigation.
Okay, who's making the motion?
Well, I'm entertaining the motion. Anyone wants to enter an executive
Okay,
session?
first, I need a first and a second, then. Are we not doing it then?
I guess not. We have consultants here that we're paying to come tonight, but I guess we're sending them home.
So then you're gonna have to, make a motion to close the meeting.
Anyone want to make a motion to close the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? All right. And we are adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming tonight.
The little rascal running the show.
Thank you for your informative speech.
Yeah, story
Great.
back here. You learn something.
How are you? How's everything in here?
No, it was a,
Good night, have a good night. Here you go, Mark, you can have all three. Here, take your paper back.
no, just broke in the middle.
They did a great job.
Oh, yeah. I definitely.
The girlfriend really wasn't involved in the accident. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I think he's.
I saw work on the record, so.
He's really